Hello again, everyone. My name is James Shotwell, and you are about to watch my recent interview with the Vaughns, whose latest release, Rom-Coms and Takeout, is available right now through Equal Vision Records. It's on all streaming services, so get out there and check it out. But first, I have the entire band here, which is really just two members, but they're both here to talk to me about their record, about what's been going on in their lives over the past couple crazy years, and everything that they've learned through the process. It's a great interview for artists of all sizes, whether you're just starting out or you're a few years into your career, as well as music professionals hoping to understand how artists are adjusting to this difficult time. I loved having this chat. I think you're going to enjoy watching it. And as always, I'll be back soon with even more content. So if you haven't done so already, please click the subscribe button down below. And if you would prefer to listen to this conversation, our podcast, Inside Music, is available on all podcast platforms, including Spotify. And I'll throw a link in the description below. But that's really all I have right now. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this conversation with the Vaughns.
Well, let's start off as straightforward as we can. Can you guys both introduce yourselves, but also and have one of you, or maybe both of you, if you haven't worked out, kind of tell the origin story of the Vaughns?
Oh boy. Well, I'm Anna. I sing and play guitar in the Vaughns.
And I'm Ryan, and I play drums.
And I guess the origin is that basically we formed this garage rock band years ago when we were still in college with a bunch of friends, and we met all through mutual friends, and I got invited to jam at Ryan's house, which was really cool. And he had this whole garage set up with soundproofing walls, and it was just all these dudes shredding classic rock, and I was like, I'm in, here we go. And we just started playing shows, and we never stopped, and we just started, it's just grown and grown from there.
I love it. Ryan, is that your version of events as well?
Well, I mean, it's definitely what happened. It's just, every time there's so many different ways you could tell the same story,
Yeah. That's a very short version of the story too.
Yeah, because Anna walks into my garage and we're jamming, but from my point of view, we're jamming and Anna walks into my garage. It's the same story.
Two sides of the same coin.
Exactly.
Oh, well, you guys just put out this awesome single EP. What are we calling it? It's 3 songs. Does that count as an EP?
EP.
It's an EP. Yeah.
Okay. It's an EP called Rom-Coms and Takeout. It's for starters, love the title. And I want to get into it because I know a little bit about where it comes from, but this release came out on Equal Vision, which I think a lot of people associate with certain bands or times in their life.
Yeah.
So it's a label that has a lot of legacy. How did you guys get connected with them?
You want this one, Ray?
Nope.
Okay. How did we get linked up with Eagle Vision? I think they saw.
I don't remember.
They saw our audio tree. We did an audio tree session a couple years ago, and I think someone sent it to them. I think from our publicist or something sent out a PSA, and they happened to see it. Their label rep, Stephanie Vaughn, last name Vaughn, actually was like, oh, interesting, band with my name, and clicked on it, and then we surprised her and she liked us, and then from there she came to see us a couple times, and then each time brought a different person, and then then it was then they made an offer and we were like, all right, cool. We didn't have that was it.
No, I like that. That's a simple, straightforward story. Sometimes there's there's hurdles and all these obstacles and crazy events, and you're just we dug each other.
Yeah. It was a pretty I think Ryan and I grew up listening to a lot of the bands that were on Equal Vision, so we were pretty stoked when they reached out, and and when we met them, when we met Stephanie and when we met Dan, who's the head of the label over there, they just had a very chill vibe, very you guys are the musicians and we trust you with the music, but our job is to build bands and we think we can help. And, to us, I think it was just clear that it felt like the right next step for us, at the time.
And the previous release, FOMO, you guys put out yourselves, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is yeah. I mean, in the traditional sense of the music business, this is a step in the right direction. You went from independent release, now you got people behind you. It worked out.
Yeah.
There's another reminder to keep taking a chance on yourself, everybody. Good job.
Yes,
Good
exactly.
job. Now, I've seen the audio tree that you guys did. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like it's weird. Audio Tree was doing what so many people are trying to do now before in the
Yeah.
before times. You know,
Yeah.
we never really appreciated it as much as we do now. Now, I'm working with bands myself. The competition to get some Audio Tree attention is so high. 2019, it was like, yeah, that's cool, I guess, and
Yeah.
it can change your life, kids.
Yeah.
Honestly, I guess it can, right?
Yeah, here we are. We're doing a new thing. So I'm curious. So this is something I ask like everybody I've been talking to recently. You know, was the plan always to put this out at the top of 2021? Because I know that All Weekend came out in 2020, and you know everyone's lives were shelved. So, like, what was the Vaughns' vision for last year versus what actually happened?
Well, I mean, we started writing the EP. I don't remember if it was the end of 2019 or the beginning of 2020. And we got in the studio in around May. So the songs were probably, I don't know, ready to go by the summer. And I don't think we were completely sure of when they were coming out or how we were putting them out or what order, what timeline. So I think things probably changed a couple times between, you know, the final decision and what we thought it was going to be at the beginning. But we knew at some point the songs were going to come out either at the end of last year or earlier this year. So definitely some changes, but it wasn't far from, I guess, what our expectations were.
Yeah, I think we got fairly lucky in a sense of like we at the end of 2019 had like a lineup change, and then we had the deal, and then we had like, so we knew it was kind of a moment where we were going to go get quiet and just write songs anyway. So like we just got kind of lucky how it worked out, where like we were sort of planning on spending the early 2020 just hidden away writing anyway. So it kind of worked out. We weren't planning any tours, so that was good, you know. Yeah, I feel like we got lucky in that regard. So the cycle just kind of lined up, and we were still able to record, which is like for a while it was like, are we even going to be able to record these songs? But in the summer we made it happen, and then I think we thought it was going to be a summer release, but that didn't pan out.
Well, I mean, I think that this is a good time for it right now. I mean, people really want content for starters, but also there's what I like about the EP is that there's like a vulnerability to certain tracks, especially Reina, where it's I feel like a lot of us are having a hard time with vulnerability right now because we're just afraid of everything, basically. It's reinforcing a lot of negative ideas. So you guys are out here putting out music that's like, you know, we can get through this thing. Allow yourself to open up again. Now I don't want to touch on any too much dramatic toes, but I do know that this record is the result of a breakup. So which one of you is the broken-hearted one here that inspired this record?
This kid right here. That's me.
Okay.
Oh,
I'll take nothing on this subject.
You're like, I'll pass.
Yeah.
So Eric, is it the kind of thing where you didn't realize that you're going to need to write these songs to process what was happening, or were you already kind of working through it in song when things fell apart? Like how does it all come together?
So it's really interesting. Like we sort of decided, and it does present itself as like just a straight up breakup story, you know, and starts with Bushwick where it like is fresh and all those fresh feelings, and then ends with Reina where you find you're starting to open up to new love. But the funny thing is that like for me, this was written, we came off of touring in like summer of 2019, and I had a bad breakup with someone I was with for like 3 years. Like we lived together, had a dog. So that happened. And then about a month after that, we basically had like this whole debacle with like our two other original bandmates decided to leave the band. So it's like, and it didn't, you know, unfortunately that didn't end well. And like, it was kind of rough. And so I lost like 3 really important people back to back to back, like in my life. And yeah, I was pretty shaken. Like I was pretty thrown for a while. I didn't know if we were still going to be a band. I didn't know where I was going to live. I was like sleeping on friends' couches. I was just like very lost. And it just sort of naturally started happening where like by fall I had met Raina and started like just started exploring that, and like started, I think, putting the pieces back together, and like it was all so fast. It was very like things were spinning, but these songs just kind of poured out, and like I don't think I realized what it was at the time, but then now looking back I'm like, oh, that all makes sense. That's like me just processing what was happening then.
I mean, who can't relate to that? I mean,
Yeah.
if you can't, then get ready. Life's gonna throw you
Yeah.
some curveballs.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
it's like a part of growing up is like you're like, I think I get heartache, and then like the calamity happens, and you're like, oh nope.
Yeah, I think it is, and I think I decided to just present it as like a clear like breakup story because I felt like that would be the easiest way for people to relate. But I think that it's like about loss and healing from loss and grieving relationships, like, and I think that there's like undertones of that in the writing, at least hopefully, that anyone who's going through any sort of uh grieving or missing someone will pick up on those hints. So that's kind of like it's all presented as a clear relationship story, but there's a lot more there as well.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And Ryan, how was your reaction when Anna comes to you and she's like, "This is what we're writing of. This is what the songs are about." Were you all in right away?
I mean, it's like a funny question because I think for a long time, when it was the four of us in the band, everybody kind of had a role. And I think, lyrics were always Anna's role, at least part of it. And I didn't really get involved in it. So it was like, these were the words that she's singing to the song that I'm writing a drum part to.
Okay.
And I think once everything changed, I think these songs were the first time that I really actually didn't pay attention to what, I know it sounds funny, but it's like, it's just like, I was like doing my part in the song, and like, I guess that was it. And then when things became the two of us, it was like, now I have to be involved in everything or pay attention to everything. Or like, so I also obviously knew everything was going on. I didn't have a breakup, but I lost two of my best friends also. And I guess everything made sense. I don't know. It just made sense.
I think
go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, I think it was the first time, like Ryan was saying, that I even offered to share things, and because we were kind of both just like heartbroken together, like it just opened us both up a lot, like to where I was just like, I had nothing to hide. I was like, he knew I was dating someone new, and he knew all the things that happened, and I was just like, it was really vulnerable and like scary, but he knew everything that I was writing about, so it just made sense to show him and be a lot more open this time around.
I was going to ask about that, going from 4 people to 2 people. I imagine the dynamics change a bit, and you kind of just answered that all of a sudden it was like, oh, a little bit more of a tag team situation here now.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I just it's again, like as I was saying, is like we all kind of had defined roles, and when you have less people than the roles. If you have less people than the roles you need to fill to be a band, you kind of have to figure things out. So it's like on the music side and on like the operating side and like all these different pieces. And, we've always been like really open with how we, kind of do this band thing and who does what, but it kind of just went to another level.
I was curious, was there ever a point when the band really sliced in half where it was like the Vaughns are no more? Were you guys always just like, we're going to keep going on this journey together?
Well,
we didn't know if we would.
Yeah, we didn't know, but we had to make a choice pretty quick because we actually had a bunch of shows and tours lined up. So Ryan and I were kind of like, well, if we still want to do this, like we can't just cancel these dates and screw over all these promoters. And that was a whole debacle because it was so we basically just like, we definitely had a couple weeks where we were really unsure if we could even keep going on and what that would look like, if we should keep the name, if we shouldn't. We just debated so much, but ultimately I think we just realized that like we both had the same vision and the same goals still for this project. And I think we both just felt like as long as it was still both of us and not just one of us, it had to just still be this, the same thing. And we just weren't ready to quit on it. And again, had a bunch of shows and we just figured it out and rolled with it.
And I also think that we just felt like we had kind of unfinished business. Like even before, the lineup changed, we kind of like, like anybody who's in the music industry or like is in a band knows that nothing is, I guess linear. It's kind of, there's ups and downs all the time with, everything that happens. And we just felt like we didn't plateau yet. We felt like we couldn't give up on what we worked so hard on for so long.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, there was a piece of like an identity crisis of like, if we stop doing this, like, who am I? Like,
who are we? What do we do?
Like,
yeah.
I definitely feel like there's a point in music where you can get off the ship and relatively remain unscarred. And then after that point, it's like, I don't know who I am without this thing. So
yeah.
I guess I just am doing it until I die.
Yeah, it felt very much like doubling down. Like it was like this moment of like, okay, well, these two guys that were always in it with us just tapped out. So like now there's like this big commitment in front of us if we do want to go forth with like the deal and stuff. And it was just like, do we really want to double down and like commit ourselves to this, or like, do we really want to go down this path? And we both, I don't know, I just feel like I remember we were like at McLynn's that one night, Ryan, and I think we both were just like, well, we can't stop. Like, I'm not ready. Are you ready? And like, it was just like, all right, I guess we're doing it,
Yeah. And if you had stopped, you would most likely have just started another project and then been like, well, now we're back to square one. Got to build back up to where I was.
That's the thing is, we wouldn't even know what we would do, It's like, because it's like I think like I'm speaking for both of us, but like we love this so much that we balance and sacrifice all these other things in our lives, and it's like I just feel like if this project started is like, do I really want to do that again? Like, I don't know who I would be, but like it's not easy. Like this is never easy. It's awesome when it's awesome, but it's really hard sometimes.
That's the truth. Well, let me ask you guys this. We're looking at a pretty unpredictable 2021. You just got the EP out. You guys are on a Spotify editorial playlist, which is a pretty big deal for any band out there, the Fresh Finds Indie playlist, but also on the Get Alternative, amazing alternative new music playlist, which is great. Shout out to Get Alternative. I'm curious, where do you want to take the Vaughns in 2021, knowing all the pretty obvious things that might not happen this year? What's like, what are you guys looking at when you look to the future for the group?
Obviously number one is if there's any chance in hell that it can happen, I think we're just so excited to get back to live shows. And as who knows what's going to happen there, but we are really hoping, or at least in the summer, we can play some outdoor shows or something. As it has for many, it's been over a year since we've really played. So we're definitely looking forward, because that's, I think, what we love the most and just want to get back there. And then also we're just going back to writing. We did an EP with Equal Vision and, maybe have some other things in the works. So we're just going to get back, and I think now that we've opened up this whole world of writing, it's kind of exciting. Like, I don't know where it's going to go yet, but just diving back in.
I like it. Ryan, anything to add?
Yeah, I just want to play some shows, write some more music, and get back to normalcy a little bit. It's like when we were, I don't know when we were a band. Sorry. When things were normal, we were playing a couple shows a month, and it was almost like every weekend we were playing shows and practicing for shows and doing all these things for shows. And that was like everything. Like, I've been in band since I've been 14. So it was like, it's been like this for 13 years of my life. And then all of a sudden this year we just don't play shows. So I really would like to get back to what normal looks like for me.
I love that. Well, I do want to ask you guys one last thing, which is, you've been on a roller coaster for the better part of 2 years at this point. Things are definitely getting better, but I'm curious for each of you, what would you say is like the biggest lesson that you've learned in the last 2 years in regards to this thing you do in music, whether it is the way that you've learned to channel things through songwriting or adjusting to this new normal? Like, what are the lessons that you've learned in the last 2 years that's made you a stronger artist individually or together?
I got one, unless you got one quicker.
You start. I'll you start.
James, I think just as a drummer, it's like, you always kind of want to put your best on the table. Like, what is the best drum part I can come up with? Like, what is my best soul contribution to this thing? And I think what I've learned, since things have changed for us, since we, started working on the EP, is that at the end of the day, it's all about the song. And it's like, how do I serve the song? Does it need a really crazy drum part? Does it need a simple one? Does it need drums at all? It's like, it's not about what's best for my drumming. It's what's best for the song. And I think it's just been a really big learning process to kind of be able to look at things that way. And then also at the same time, just to look at, like, sometimes the best songs are the simplest. So just.
That's great.
I love that.
Yeah. For me, kind of similar. I think Ryan and I both have just been learning a lot about like writing better songs, and that's something we've been focused on. But like, I guess for me, like, I think like lyrically, I'm just leaning into and learning, like, the point of writing a good song is like to connect with people. And so part of that is like, one, you have to be open and vulnerable with yourself. And then two, like, to write songs in a way that are like, I guess, like more accessible to people. Kind of in the same way, like what he was saying, when you're playing an instrument, sometimes even as a songwriter or lyricist, like you want to show off all the cool metaphors and the cool rhymes and the cool things that you can fit into a song, especially as a young writer. But as you get older, it's like, I just want to write something that's going to be like instantly understood, so that people, as soon as they hear it, instantly feel that and can relate to that and connect to that. So yeah,
I love it. That's a strong answer. Like,
thank you.
It's a pivot from like, how do I get their attention, to like, let me tell my story in a way, while still getting their attention, hopefully.
Exactly. Yeah, trying to find that right balance. Of course, you got to keep it interesting.
Well, you guys, this has been a lot of fun for everyone paying attention. Rom-Coms and Takeout available right now. There are some cool bundles from Equal Vision. The Vaughns are available online everywhere, I assume, and hopefully available in a city near you at some point. Yes. Is there anything else that you guys would like to kind of touch on, promote, mention before I let you get on with your lives?
Yeah, James, we want to thank you for having us on here, and this was really, really fun for us, and we appreciate you. And
thank you so much for having us and chatting.
Thank you guys, and shout out to Kirsten for putting us in touch with one another. She knows she knows the kind of stuff I'm into. She reached out and I was immediately like, yes, that's my thing. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Wonderful to see you both. I'll see you in person one day, I swear. And have a great day, guys.
Cool. We'll see you at some point.
Thank you so much, James.
Good night.
Take care.